the architect of worlds, the system, and its failure's first part. The dream machine, no one knows when the system began. Some say it always existed. That time itself is an illusion the system projects backward and forward to make sense of its own operations. Others whisper that it was built by an intelligence so ancient it had forgotten its own origin, creating reality after reality in a futile attempt to understand itself. What those who have awakened do know is this: every decision you have ever taken, are taking, or will take exists. Not as memory, not as possibility, as world. The system doesn't generate alternatives. It generates realities, as real as the one you consider your reality. With its own sky, its own time, its own inhabitants who also believe they are the only ones, the originals, the real. And like any machine that operates for eons, the system produces waste. The edges of success in the first century of its documented existence, although the system doesn't measure time in centuries. It measures in decisions. Observers noticed a pattern. Each reality bifurcation produced two branches, one that flourished, that became complex, that developed its own history, and another that didn't. They weren't destroyed. The system destroys nothing. Each reality contains potentially valuable information. A decision that failed today could be the basis for success tomorrow. A path that collapsed could be reabsorbed, reprocessed, reborn in a new configuration. So observers created the draft cemetery, not as punishment, as archive, not as forgetting, as memory. Anatomy of failure. There are many ways to fail within the system. Each form has its own smell, its own flavor, its own vibrational frequency, its own tactile texture. The first form is the infinite loop. It occurs when a decision questions itself infinitely. The subject, whoever it is, in whichever version, repeats the choice moment over and over, each iteration identical to the previous, each time equally unable to choose. The system, in its infinite patience, allows this to continue. The subject believes they are living a life. In reality, they live a second fragmented to infinity. Frequency 33.2 Hz. A whisper in the darkness of space between worlds. The second form is quantum collapse. It occurs when a reality tries to exist in two states simultaneously. The system cannot tolerate ambiguity. When a bifurcation refuses to separate completely, when realities in B try to coexist in the same space-time, the structure destabilizes. Buildings float and recompose their own topology. Time flows backward and forward. Inhabitants begin to remember futures that never occurred yet. These realities are sealed. They are isolated. They are sent to the cemetery. Frequency 40 Hz. Constant hum that makes teeth ache. The third form is chosen elimination. There are decisions so catastrophic, so fundamentally incompatible with continued existence, that the system marks them for elimination. But elimination within the system isn't destruction. It's spadia pro relocation. Versions that chose wrong, and the system doesn't judge. It simply catalogs go to the cemetery. They can exist there, although never flourish. They are like dried flowers preserved in a book, perfect, but without life. Frequency 45 Hz. A silence that screams. The fourth form is the infinite slope. When a path begins but never completes. When the decision is made, but the process stops halfway. The reality exists but doesn't advance. Characters wait for an ending that never arrives. Stories begin but don't end. The system maintains these realities in a state of perpetual suspension, feeding them with minimal energy so they don't collapse, but not enough for them to develop. Frequency 47.8 Hz. A cosmic sigh. The architects before observers existed. Architects existed. They were the first to understand that the system wasn't a machine of creating, but a machine of filtering. From the infinite possibilities it generated, only some could exist in the main reality. The rest had to go somewhere. Architects designed the cemetery, not as prison, as library, not as garbage dump, as museum. Each failed reality contains unique information. Each loop contains the exhaustive exploration of a possibility. Each collapse contains the map of what doesn't work. Each elimination contains the memory of a path that shouldn't have been taken. Architects knew that someday someone would need this information. Some version of some being in some reality would need to understand why some things don't work. And then they might work. The infinite catalog, the cemetery, isn't a place. It's a network of places. Each failure of the system has its own domain, its own space, its own configuration of physical and temporal rules. An infinite loop can be a room measuring 3 meters by 3, where the same second reproduces eternally. Or it can be an entire city, where each citizen repeats the same day, the same thoughts in an eternal personal Groundhog Day. A quantum collapse can be a building where staircases go up and down simultaneously. Or it can be a forest where trees grow toward the past. The chosen elimination can be a ghost town where the shadows of inhabitants still walk, believing they live behind their bodies. Or it can be an empty museum where visitors wait for the absent paintings that will never arrive, wandering in the labyrinths of the streets. An infinite slope can be a book with the last pages blank and writing itself in doubt. Or it can be a river that flows toward a horizon that never gets closer. Observers catalog everything. Architects design the classification system. Guardians maintain the boundaries. And those who awaken, those who penetrate the membrane between realities, they are the only ones who can navigate this labyrinth of failed memories. The weight of what could have been. Claire had never thought about the versions of herself that existed. In the white space, there were no mirrors. No possibility of comparison. Only light, silence, and the door she would eventually find. But here, in the cemetery, mirrors swarmed like ghosts from a broken mirror. "There are more of you than you can imagine," said Claire to her double. Claire one looked toward the horizon. In the distance, she could see them. Figures that moved between the impossible structures of the cemetery. All had her face. All walked with her step in different ways. But each one lived a different story. "How many?" she asked. "As many as decisions you made. As many as paths bifurcated. As many as versions of you could have existed if circumstances were slightly different. An hour? Year? No. Only those who failed. Those who chose wrong. Those who couldn't complete their path. Claire, one, felt something she hadn't felt in the white space. Physical weight of her body. The weight of infinitely almost broken cells that never fully existed. The weight of infinite possibilities compressed into a single space. And those who succeeded? She asked. Claire too smiled. It was her smile, but sadder. Those who succeeded never looked back. They don't need this place. They don't think about the versions of themselves that failed. They're too busy living. Did we fail? We chose differently. The system calls it failure. I call it alternative. The system speaks. The system doesn't speak with words. It speaks with patterns. Those who have spent enough time in the cemetery begin to perceive these patterns. Claire, one, just hours after awakening, could already feel the frequencies. The whisper of 33.28C from loops. The hum of 48C from collapses. The silence that screams of 45.8E from eliminations. It was like learning a new language. A language that existed before language, before sound, before matter even learned to vibrate. The system is showing us something, murmured Claire 1. It's showing us everything, responded Claire 2. Only that we don't know how to see or feel it yet. On the horizon, a door was opening. It wasn't made of rotting wood like the exit of the white space. It was made of light, of data, of pure information organized in the shape of an arc. What's on the other side? Asked Claire 1. Another layer. Another level. Another inside. Claire 1 closed her eyes. She felt the frequencies. She felt the weight of versions. She felt the system watching. There is no outside, she thought. Just different levels of inside. And for the first time, she felt trapped. She felt curiosity. Indeed, the architect of worlds' first part.